Magandang araw sa inyo mga ka-learners! How are you feeling today? Masaya ba kayo sa takbo ng inyong araw? Sana'y hindi kayo malungkot at wag sana na may makasagutan kayong kaibigan, kapatid o katrabaho. Naranasan niyo ba na makaramdam ng galit, takot o di kaya'y pagkayamot? If you feel any of these, don't worry. It's perfectly normal. Nangyayari ito sa lahat ng tao. There are times when we will find ourselves in uncomfortable situations, such as during an argument or a job interview. Everybody experiences negative feelings like anger, anxiety, frustration, and loneliness as a result of these, as well as in other situations. What can you do to help yourself get over these uncomfortable feelings? That's what we are here to find out, how to deal with our own feelings. In this module, we will learn to identify our negative feelings and the situations that caused them, and discover different ways to manage our negative feelings. Bring out your pen, paper, and a bag of patience. Let's start. Let's start by understanding our negative feelings and the situations that caused them. I have here a box of words that describe what we can feel throughout the day. Help me pick out which ones are positive and which ones are negative. Thank you. Now let's separate the negative feelings from the positive feelings by removing all the words that describe positive feelings. Write down these feelings and the reasons why you think these feelings are negative. Also, underline or encircle the ones that you have felt before. How did you deal with the negative feelings you underlined or encircled? Do you remember why you felt those negative feelings in the first place? A negative feeling occurs when something bad happens. You sometimes refer to these as not nice or bad feelings. Negative feelings could be any feeling that causes personal discomfort, unpleasantness, or distress. You could be irritated, lonely, jealous, angry, or depressed, as in sad depressed, not clinically depressed. These feelings can be caused by many different factors since we are all unique. We all have different lifestyles, environments, and ways of responding to things that happen to us. We differ in our own feelings and emotions. We all, however, go through times when we feel bad. This is why I asked you if you remember what caused you to have those negative feelings you encircled or underlined. It is important to look at the context or the situation that is happening when you feel bad, because that tells you the cause or the source. In general, there are 6 categories that tell you where these bad feelings come from. These are trauma. This is a sudden event that shatters your sense of safety, like being in a car accident, being in a holdup, or being humiliated in public. These make you feel fear, shame, depression, helplessness, and frustration. Conflict. This is when you are forced to make difficult choices or get into a disagreement with someone else. This can be having to give up your studies because of work, or arguing with a friend because you have different opinions on a certain topic. These situations and others like it make you feel anger, regret, irritation, frustration, and anxiety. Life events. These are uncontrollable things that happen which can change a person's life. Examples are being put in jail, losing your job, breaking up with your significant other, or being diagnosed with a life-threatening illness such as cancer or COVID-19. You may feel angry, afraid, frustrated, or depressed because you went through these events. Bereavement. This means losing a loved one either through death or moving to a faraway place. This usually causes you to feel grief, loneliness, disbelief, and depression. Continuing problems. These are problems that happen over and over again, like when you get into arguments with your family or your boss, being discriminated against, living in a dangerous environment, and not liking your job. These situations usually lead to feelings of fear, frustration, anger, and helplessness because they keep happening over and over again. Daily annoyances. This is a bit more common, but something we tend to shove to the side. These are minor problems that irritate, frustrate, and sometimes anger us, like heavy traffic, doing your chores, having your electricity cut off, not having water, not having load, or having to go out in bad weather. Notice that almost anything can provoke negative feelings. Problems can arise anytime. This is why it is important to understand what we are feeling at all times. Doing this allows us to be ready to cope with them. Once we understand what we feel and how we feel at all times, we then start to develop coping strategies. Coping strategies are ways which help us handle or face our problems. This differs from person to person because we all cope with our problems in different ways. How I cope with my problems may not necessarily work for you, but it pays to know how we feel so we can find the most effective strategies to cope with them. This module, specifically the next lesson, will cover the following base feelings so you can better understand how you are feeling at certain points of the day. Anger is a violent and strong displeasure as a result of opposition or maltreatment. These can lead to feelings like jealousy, hatred, and disgust. Fear is a feeling of anxiety caused by the presence of danger, evil or pain, dread, or a general feeling of uneasiness about something. These usually lead to anxiety, worry, and depression. Frustration, meanwhile, is something you feel when you are kept from doing or achieving something, like defeated efforts, hopes, or plans. You will most likely feel irritation, regret, or helplessness. That's it for Lesson 1, mga ka-learners. Before we move on to Lesson 2, let's look back at what we have learned so far. Negative feelings are uncomfortable, unpleasant, or personally distressing feelings. Negative feelings can be caused by trauma, conflict, life events, bereavement, continuing problems, or daily hassles. Everyone undergoes negative feelings at some point. Negative feelings can come from 3 basic feelings: anger, fear, and frustration. Stay tuned for a short quiz on this lesson or log into your online LMS account and answer the matching quizzes for this lesson there. See you on our next episode, mga ka-learners!